learners. In this video, I'm going to talk about joint stock company, the meaning of joint stock company, features or characteristics of joint stock company, and the advantages and disadvantages which accrue to a joint stock company. So let's begin by first analyzing the meaning of a joint stock company. Basically, joint stock company is a voluntary association of persons who have agreed to contribute capital jointly for the purpose of making profits. In the case of a joint stock company, it is a form of business organization that is jointly owned by all its shareholders. And it is a business entity in which the shares of the company, that is the stocks, can be bought and sold by the shareholders. So basically, joint stock company is again out of two types, that is private company and a public company. In the case of a joint stock company, the entire capital of a company is divided into small units, and each such unit is called as a share, and the investors who purchase these shares are called as the shareholders. The first feature of a joint stock company is artificial legal person, which means a joint stock company is considered as an artificial person. Even though a joint stock company does not have a physical firm, but still a joint stock company can enter into contracts, it can sue and be sued in its own name, it can have property which is purchased in the name of the company, and similarly it can also borrow money like any other natural person. So as per the Companies Act of 1956, the Companies Act confers the benefit of artificial person for a joint stock company. The next feature of a joint stock company is separate legal entity. Separate legal entity here means that since the company is created by law, it has a separate legal existence compared to that of its members. So basically, it means that the shareholders or the directors who own and manage the company cannot be held responsible for the acts of the company. This feature of a joint stock company, also causes one of the major demerits for a joint stock company, because there is separate legal existence and nobody can, neither the directors nor the shareholders can be held responsible for the acts of the joint stock company. Therefore, for this reason, we find that nowadays more fraudulent activities are being committed by big companies, because ultimately, at the a joint stock company has a separate legal entity. So even if the directors commit these fraudulent activities, they cannot be wholly held responsible for these acts. The next feature of a joint stock company is incorporation. Incorporation means registration. For a joint stock company to come into existence, whether it is a private company or a public company, it has to be incorporated or registered. Only when the company gets the certificate of incorporation from the registrar of companies, then the company comes into existence. The next feature of a joint stock company is perpetual succession. Since the company has a separate existence from that of its members, directors, okay, therefore, for this reason, the existence of a company is not affected by the entry or exit of any of the members. No matter how many shareholders become a part of the company or leave the company, no matter how many directors become a part of the company and leave the company, but the business or the company continues to exist. It can be winded up or it can be closed only under the provisions of the Companies Act of 1956 and not by the entry or exit or any of the members. Next, limited liability. Limited liability refers to responsibility or obligation. So basically, the liability of the members of a company is limited only to the extent of the unpaid value of shares which is held by them. Now let's take the case of equity shares. If the liability of the or let's take the case of preference shareholders. When the liability is limited, it means that supposing the value of a preference share, one preference share was rupees 100, and then the preference shareholders have already paid rupees 70 per share. So the balance of rupees 30 is what they are supposed to pay to the company in the event of if the company decides to close down early itself. No shareholder can be the personal assets of no shareholder can be seized in order to clear the debts of the company. That is what is meant by limited liability. The liability of the members is restricted only to the unpaid value of the shares which is held by them. Next is transferability of shares. Transferability of shares means that the members who are the shareholders of the company can easily transfer or sell their shares to any other person without the consent or without taking the consent of the company or any other shareholders, which means that supposing I have shares and I want to transfer it to some person, Mr. A or whoever it is, then in that case I am free to transfer my shares to Mr. A. I do not have to take the consent of either the company or any other shareholders. Lastly, the common seal. Now, the common seal acts as a signature of the company. Since the company, joint stock company, has an artificial legal existence but not a physical existence, okay, which means that the joint stock company can enter into contracts in its own name, but then since it does not have any physical existence, it cannot affix its signature. So, the common seal of a company acts as a signature for the company. So, the common seal has to be affixed on all the important documents and contracts which on which the which are entered in the name of the joint stock company. But however, to make sure that the common seal is not misused, whenever the common seal of a company is affixed on any document, it has to be witnessed or it has to be attested by the signature of two other directors. Okay, so and it has to also be countersigned by the secretary. So only when the common seal of a company, if we find that on any document, only if the common seal of the company is there, it does not have any validity. Along with the common seal, the signature of two directors, along with the counter signature of the secretary, should be there on a document for the document to be valid. So a common seal of the company acts like a signature of the company. Moving further to the advantages of a joint stock company. The first advantage of a joint stock company is limited liability. The shareholder's liability or obligation is limited only to the face value of the shares which is held by them. So the members are liable to pay only the extent of unpaid value on the shares. And on the other hand, if the shares are fully paid, then the member is not liable for any of the debts of the company, and the personal assets of the shareholders cannot be confiscated in order to clear the debts of the company. Next is it encourages speculation. Speculation refers to trading on shares. Basically, the shares of the joint stock company can easily be bought and sold using the platform of stock exchanges. So therefore, the investors or the shareholders can also make profits by speculation of shares. The next advantage is free transferability of shares. Free transferability of shares means the shareholders of a joint stock company can easily sell their shares to any other person. They need not have to take the consent of either the company or any of the shareholders. Next is continuity and stability. Continuity and stability means that the joint stock company enjoys the advantage of perpetual succession. Perpetual succession means the business of the company continues to exist no matter how many shareholders become a part of the company or they leave the company. So the existence of a joint stock company is not affected either by the entry or exit of any of the directors or the shareholders. Next, professional management. The management of a joint stock company is in the hands of directors who are generally people who are highly experienced and skilled. Okay, whereas the capital of the joint stock company is contributed by the shareholders. So therefore, since the directors are generally people of high reputation and who have the requisite knowledge and skill in order to manage the business effectively and efficiently, therefore, the joint stock company enjoys the benefit of professional management. Next is large capital. Now, in the case of a joint stock company, they generally take money from the general public. Now, since the money is elicited from the general public, therefore, it is possible for the joint stock company to raise huge amounts of capital, which is required for the existence of the company. Existence of the company and also for the growth of the company. The next advantage of a joint stock company is that it enjoys economies of scale. Economies of scale refers to the benefits which a company enjoys when it manufactures goods on a large scale. The more the number of goods manufactured by a company increases, the cost per unit comes down. So when the cost per unit comes down, then the company makes more profit by making sales. So therefore, economies of scales is also one of the advantages of a joint stock company, since generally a joint stock company manufactures goods on a large scale. Next is bargaining power. Compared to other forms of commercial organizations, a joint stock company has a stronger bargaining power when they are buying raw materials as well as when they are selling goods, because they are manufacturing goods on a large scale. Next, separate legal status. The company enjoys a separate legal status from that of its members, which means that the shareholders cannot be held responsible for any of the fraudulent activities which is committed in the name of the company. Next is employment. A joint stock company provides employment to a large number of people either directly or indirectly. Okay, so this leads to generation of higher national income for the country, and also it leads to manufacturing of more products, for which leads to again increase in the gross domestic product of a country. Next we have is research and development. Since the joint stock companies have huge financial resources, therefore they can undertake research and development activities, which will again continuously help in bringing about new and improved products, which will ultimately benefit the people of the nation. And lastly, economic development. Because the joint stock company, helps in solving the problem of unemployment, and it provides employment to many people. Therefore, the per capita income of the country increases. When the per capita income of the country increases, then again the gross domestic product, the national income of the country also increases, and ultimately the country will enjoy the benefit of economic development. So therefore, these were some of the benefits of advantages of joint stock company. Further, let's look into the disadvantages of a joint stock company. The first disadvantage of a joint stock company is difficulty in formation. Now, the formation of a joint stock company is an expensive and time-consuming process because number of legal formalities have to be undertaken in order to register a joint stock company. Now, let's take generally in the case of a joint stock company, we have 4 stages in its formation for a public joint company, that is promotion, incorporation, capital subscription, and commencement of business. In all these 4 stages, number of formalities have to be observed. Documents like memorandum of association, articles of association have to be prepared. Again, these documents have to be submitted to the registrar. Approval of registrar has to be solicited for for a joint stock company to come into existence. So number of formalities have to be observed. So this, therefore, the formation of a joint stock company is difficult because it has to observe these number of formalities, and these formalities involve, huge amount of cost, and also time is involved to complete these formalities. Next is excessive government regulations. Now, the company's joint stock company's formation is subject to all the provisions which are there in the Companies Act of 1956. Now, this Companies Act of 1956 is a very comprehensive act which contains, huge details regarding the formation of company and also regarding the functioning of a joint stock company. So, therefore, by way of laws, the government exercises huge control over the joint stock companies, and because of this excessive government regulations, it becomes difficult for a joint stock company to function, to function without any government interference. Next is it lacks flexibility. Now, due to the excessive government control and the democratic setup of the joint stock companies, the joint stock companies, they lack flexibility in the sense that it cannot easily adapt itself to the changes in the business environment. Any change in the functioning of a joint stock company requires prior approval of the registrar of the shareholders. So all these formalities makes it difficult for a joint stock company to adapt itself to the changing business environment, promptly. Next is conflicts of interest. Now, generally, in the case of a joint stock company, the management of the company is in the hands of the directors, whereas the actual owners of the company are the shareholders. So, sometimes the directors may take a decision for the joint stock company which the shareholders may not feel is right. So, this list leads to a conflict of interest in the functioning of a joint stock company. Next is lack of contact with customers. Now, since the joint stock company, has is a big organization, therefore, in the case of a joint stock company, it is difficult to maintain direct contact with the customers, and this lack of direct contact with the customers, also leads to reduced profitability or not proper understanding of the needs of the customers, which in turn affects the company's profit.